something that cropped up, I might just sort of happening to mention it on the workshop the other day, was that I used to do a lot of work with people with dyslexia and got huge, huge, huge fun from one particular support that I gave them. And this was something I learned, I think, from Educ, it used to be called, which I studied and trained to facilitate. And everyone was so intrigued by it and said, oh yes, yes, please tell us all about it, that this is simply a demonstration of something I've used. And I'll tell you a little bit about how I use it, because I think that's important you understand that before you see it, and use it yourselves if you want to for people who might need it. You may well know people who can only read syllable by syllable. So they don't read, because they just can't make sense of what they're reading at all when they're reading like that. And I was taught this correction, and the first time I did it was on a brother and sister who were brought to my house, and I've still got the tape recording, but I don't have their permission to share it with you, so I'll tell you what it was all about. My memory was that they were about 6 and 8 years old, the boy was younger, and they both read like that, and their mother brought them to me, because she'd heard I might be able to help. And I explained what we were going to do, and they gave me my permission to record them. And I recorded both of them reading from Winnie the Pooh. It was, I think I had handy, I thought they might know that and might be easier for them, but no, it was syllable stuff. And the correction, which I'll demonstrate in a moment, was simply K27 points, 2 fingers and a thumb on K27, other bunched up fingers in the navel, rubbing those while rotating the eyes round in a circle and saying the alphabet, then swapping the hands round and going the opposite way with the eyes and doing the alphabet again. And that's all I did with both children. And then I gave them back Winnie the Pooh. It almost makes me sort of careful when I remember it or hear it. The boy started and read completely fluently, and in the middle you hear him whispering on the tape, "I don't believe this," which is such fun. His sister then took over and not only read fluently, but she gave different voices to the different characters in the story. I mean, I was absolutely gobsmacked. What does the correction take? Sort of 6 minutes each or something, if that? I need to say also that later on I did that correction with a 5-year-old boy and it didn't work. I have no idea why not, whether I reminded him of a teacher who'd been cruel to him or bullied him at school or something, I have absolutely no idea, but for some reason the correction didn't work with that 5-year-old. It's the only time it hasn't worked. And it doesn't just work with children. Who are quite new to reading, the last person I did it with was in her 30s. I was at a workshop, healing sort of workshop, and the trainer said to her, asked her to read from the manual, and she said, "I don't read." And so he just very smoothly asked the neighbour to read, and that was fine. And I, just for the hell of it, I went up to her at a break and said, "I couldn't hear you, help hearing you say that. If you'd like me to, I might be able to help." So we went off in the garden, just the two of us, and we did exactly the same exercise before, except I didn't record her. She read syllable by syllable from a magazine that we took down there with us. We did that same correction, and she read completely fluently. And I said, "Well, you've now," and this was important, I said to her, "You now know that you've got an exercise you can do. If ever you're having trouble reading or things just don't seem to be, you can just do that correction and it will help integrate things in your head, and that will help you read from now on." And I happened to bump into her 3 months later on a follow-up workshop, same kind of thing, but a follow-up. She rushed up to me, she said, "I don't know how to thank you. I'm hoovering up books, magazines, newspapers, it's absolutely wonderful." And I said, "Oh, that's great. How often do you do the exercise?" She looked at me puzzled and said, "What exercise?" She hadn't needed ever to do it again. So I'm told you that story so that hopefully it will raise your expectations that you've got a very good chance that this exercise will help someone you work with, use it with. Absolutely no guarantee, as ever, with kinesiology, but a really, really good chance. What am I now, 76? It's only failed on me once in sort of 40 odd years of working with it. And so, just to show you how it's like, shall I just demonstrate with you?
Yes, please.
So, you know your fingers, and well, I sort of punch, whatever way you're comfortable with it. I think it's changed a bit from the days when I did. I put 2 fingers and a thumb on K27, and I just rub these gently while I rotate my eyes. Let's go clockwise each of us and say the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And then we change our hands around. Same process. In the 2 fingers and a thumb in the K27. Take the eyes the other way this time. And do the alphabet again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And that's it.
Okay.
I know you read fluently or whatever, so we didn't do the reading exercise before and after. But isn't it fascinating that something as simple as that?
Yeah.
Take that lady in her 30s.
Yeah.
I mean, she just hadn't read. And then, what a change in her life. So have fun with it. If you know what I mean, be confident with it, have a high expectation of it being okay and working for your clients, without, of course, giving them any guarantees. And I'd love to hear any feedback on successes that you have. So thank you for listening.